Welcome back to Acts of Kindness, the place where ordinary moments turn into extraordinary stories. If you are new here, make sure to stay with us till the end, because today's story will remind you that doing the right thing always pays off, even when life seems to punish you for it. Now let's begin. The day started like any other for 24-year-old Daniel Hayes. He was rushing through the heart of the city, his documents tucked tightly under his arm, rehearsing interview answers in his head. This was the biggest job opportunity of his life. Months of preparation, years of hard work, and endless nights of studying had brought him to this moment. Today, he was scheduled to meet the executives of Haldon Industries, one of the most prestigious tech companies in the country. Daniel knew he wasn't the most privileged applicant. He didn't come from wealth or connections. He grew up in a small town, raised by a single mother who worked double shifts at a clinic to support him and his younger sister. He knew what struggle felt like. He knew what it meant to prove yourself when no one believed in you. And so, this interview meant more to him than just a job. It meant stability, a future, a chance to give back to his mother who sacrificed everything for him. As Daniel crossed the crowded street, he glanced at his watch. He was perfectly on time. In fact, he would arrive 10 minutes early, just as he intended. He allowed himself a small smile. For once, things seemed to be working in his favor. But fate had its own plans. Right as he reached the next block, he noticed a young woman standing by the roadside, her face pale, her hands trembling as she bent over her ankle. Next to her, her bag lay scattered, papers flying away with the wind. She tried to stand, but winced in pain. People passed by her without a second look. Some even stepped around her, annoyed that she was blocking the path. Daniel hesitated for a moment. He looked at his watch again. Helping her would cost him time, maybe even the entire interview, but he couldn't just walk away. His mother always taught him that kindness isn't something you offer when it's convenient. It's something you offer because it's right. So he took a deep breath, stepped forward, and knelt beside the girl. "Hey, are you okay?" he asked gently. The girl looked up at him, her eyes wide with relief. I think I twisted my ankle. I was running to catch a cab and lost my balance. And my papers, they're everywhere. I'm sorry, I don't mean to bother anyone." "Don't apologize," he said with a reassuring smile. "Let me help." He quickly gathered her scattered documents, even running a few steps to catch pages that were carried by the wind. When he brought them back, he noticed the expensive quality of her papers, business proposals, financial charts, and presentation drafts. Whoever she was, she clearly had an important position. "Do you think you can stand?" Daniel asked. She tried but winced again. "I don't think so." "I can call someone for you," he offered. "No, I can't be late," she murmured under her breath. "I had a presentation this morning. It's important, and now I'm ruined." Daniel thought for a moment, then made a decision he knew might change the course of his life. He gently helped her to her feet, supporting her weight with his arm. "There's a clinic around the corner. I can take you there." She looked at him, surprised. "But don't you have somewhere to be? You look like you're dressed for something important." Daniel gave a small, almost embarrassed chuckle. "I have an interview, a big one." "Then go," she urged. "You can't miss it. I'll manage somehow." But Daniel shook his head. "I can't leave you here like this. Interviews will come again. Your safety matters now." The girl looked at him with a strange expression, part gratitude, part confusion, and something else he couldn't quite place. They slowly made their way to the clinic. Daniel helped her check in, waited while the nurse examined her ankle, and even brought her water. Time ticked by 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20. His interview slot was disappearing. When the doctor confirmed she had a sprained ligament and needed rest, she looked at Daniel again. "You really didn't have to stay," she whispered. "Yes, I did," he said simply. "I hope your presentation goes well, or I guess it won't happen today." She laughed softly. "No, I'm afraid it won't, but thank you, really." Before Daniel could ask her name, his phone buzzed. A message from Haldon Industries. "Your interview slot has passed. Please contact HR for rescheduling options." His heart sank. He thanked the girl and hurried out. He ran all the way to the company building, hoping that maybe, just maybe, they'd still let him speak to someone. But when he arrived, the receptionist shook her head. "I'm sorry, sir. The panel has left for the day. You'll have to reapply next quarter." "Next quarter," Daniel repeated, stunned. "But I've prepared for months. Please, just one." "I'm sorry," she said again firmly. "There's nothing I can do." Daniel walked out of the building defeated. Rain began to fall lightly across the city, matching the heaviness in his chest. He didn't regret helping the girl, but he couldn't help feeling like he'd paid a terrible price for doing the right thing. When he returned home, his mother noticed the sadness on his face. "Daniel," she said softly, "a good deed is never wasted. Maybe it didn't help you today, but life has a way of returning kindness in ways we never expect." He tried to believe her words, but disappointment clung to him. The next morning, Daniel received a call from an unknown number. "Hello. Is this Daniel Hayes?" a voice asked. "Yes. You are requested to come to Halden Industries at 10 a.m. today. Please proceed directly to the CEO's floor." Daniel froze. "The CEO? Is this about my missed interview?" "You will be informed upon arrival," the caller said before hanging up. Confused, nervous, and curious, Daniel prepared himself and headed back to the company. When he reached the top floor, he was greeted by a receptionist who gave him a warm smile. "They're expecting you," she said, leading him to the main office. The moment the door opened, Daniel's breath caught in his throat. Sitting behind the large oak desk was the girl he had helped. Her hair was neatly tied, she was wearing a professional blazer, and her calm, confident aura made it clear she was no ordinary employee. She stood up and smiled. "Daniel, I'm glad you came." Yours. "I'm Sophia Halden," she said gently, "daughter of the CEO, and as of last year, the co-CEO of the company." Daniel blinked in shock. The girl he helped on the street, the girl who twisted her ankle, was the CEO's daughter. I had no idea," he breathed. "I know," she replied. "That's why you helped me, not because of who I am, but because you're genuinely kind." She walked toward him, her steps slow from the healing ankle. "I reviewed your application," she continued, "and I was impressed with your qualifications even before yesterday. But what I saw yesterday, your selflessness, your sincerity, your willingness to sacrifice something important for a stranger, that showed me the kind of man you truly are." Daniel swallowed hard, unsure of what to say. "You lost your interview because of me," Sophia said softly, "and I'm sorry for that, but today I'm offering you something better." She handed him a folder. Inside was a contract. A job offer. Not for the entry-level position he had applied for, but for a higher role with direct mentorship under Sophia herself. Daniel felt his heartbeat pounding in his ears. This must be a mistake. "It's not," she said with a smile. "People with degrees are everywhere. People with genuine kindness are rare. Halden Industries needs people like you." For a moment, he couldn't speak. Emotion tightened his throat. I don't know what to say." "Say yes," she said lightly, "unless you prefer waiting until next quarter." Daniel laughed through the tears forming in his eyes. "Yes, absolutely yes." Sophia extended her hand. "Welcome to Halden Industries." He shook her hand, still in disbelief. Later that day, Daniel called his mother, voice trembling with joy. She cried on the phone, repeating the same words she had told him the night before. "A good deed is never wasted." Weeks passed, and Daniel proved himself an invaluable asset to the company. He worked closely with Sophia, and though she was his boss, their shared experience created a connection neither of them expected. She admired his integrity, he admired her humility despite her status. They became friends, and slowly, something more began to bloom. But neither spoke of it, not yet. One late evening, after reviewing a project together, Daniel collected his things and prepared to leave. As he approached the elevator, he found Sophia standing by the window overlooking the city. "You know," she said without turning, I still remember the moment you stopped to help me. Most people just walked past. Daniel joined her by the window. I did what anyone should have done. Maybe, she said softly, but not everyone does. She finally looked at him, her eyes reflecting the city lights. You changed my life that day. Daniel smiled gently. You changed mine more than you know. There was a moment of silence, a warm, unspoken understanding between them. Daniel, she asked quietly, do you ever regret missing your interview? He shook his head, not for a second. She smiled, a smile that held promises neither of them had put into words yet. Kindness had brought them together, fate had aligned the rest. Months later, the company held its annual gala. Daniel entered nervously, but everyone welcomed him warmly. People whispered about the young man the CEO personally recommended. Many knew the story of the girl he helped, though they didn't know just how close the two had grown. During the event, Sophia took the stage for her speech, but before she ended, she said something unexpected. I want to recognize someone special tonight, she said, scanning the crowd until her eyes landed on Daniel. Someone who reminded me that humanity still exists in its purest form. Daniel felt his cheeks grow warm as she continued. This man showed kindness when he had nothing to gain. He sacrificed a major opportunity to help a stranger. And because of that, he has earned not only my respect, but also a deep place in the heart of this company. Everyone applauded. Daniel's heart raced. After the event, Sophia approached him privately. There's something I've been meaning to tell you, she said softly. What is it? He asked. She took a small breath. Thank you, not just for helping me that day, but for being the person you are. You inspire me more than you know. Before Daniel could respond, she added, and I hope this isn't inappropriate, but I'd really like to know you more, outside of work. Daniel's eyes widened slightly, but a smile spread across his face. I'd like that too. The connection they shared, built on kindness, trust, and fate, deepened as time passed. Their story became well known throughout the company as a reminder that small acts of goodness can change lives. Eventually, Sophia's father, the original CEO, met Daniel formally. Daniel expected the man to be stern or intimidating, but instead, he shook Daniel's hand firmly and said, "Thank you for taking care of my daughter when she was alone. You're the kind of man I hoped she'd meet someday." Daniel didn't know what the future held, but he knew one thing for certain. A simple act of kindness had changed everything. He began that day hopping for a job. He ended up finding a purpose, a career, and possibly something even more meaningful. The world keeps spinning, people rush past one another, and everyone seems too busy to stop. But sometimes, stopping, just for a moment, creates the miracle no one expects. And Daniel's life stood as proof of that. Thank you for watching Acts of Kindness. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to share it, because you never know whose life it might change today.